Hey everyone, it is Sillyman here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Roblox data stores to save player data inside of your game. So the first thing we need to do is add something to the game that can be saved, such as the amount of cash that a player has. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go over to server script service and then insert a script. And so what we're going to do is create a cash value. So we're going to say local players equals game get service players. And then we're going to say players dot player added connect function. So the player added event is an event that will fire whenever a player joins the game. And then we're going to say player, and this will contain the information on which player joined the game. And then we're going to create leader stats. So local leader stats equals instance dot new folder leader stats dot name equals leader stats, and make sure you spell this with the lowercase l, otherwise the leaderboard over here won't show when you hit play. And then leader stats dot parent equals player. And then we're going to create the cache value. So we're going to say local cache equals instance dot new, and then we're going to create an integer value. So we just say int value, and then cache dot name equals cache dot value. So the default value when a player joins the game, the player is going to have 0 cash, so we're going to just set that to 0. And then cache dot parent equals the leader stats, because we want this to show on the leaderboard. So now if I go ahead and hit play, you can see that the cache now shows up on the leaderboard. The next thing we're going to do is create a value called data loaded. So local data loaded, and this value will be used to check that the player's data was actually loaded before we save it, because we want to make sure that the player's data was successfully loaded before we try saving it, because otherwise it could lead to data loss. So we're going to say local data loaded equals instance dot new, and then we're going to say in quotes bool value, and a bool value is a value which the choices are going to be either true or false. So then we're going to say data loaded dot name equals data loaded dot value equals false. And then if once we load the player's data, we'll set it to true. And then we need to parent it, so data loaded dot parent equals player. Alright, because we don't want this to be showing up on the leaderboard, so we're going to parent it to the player. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is create our player key. So a player key is a unique value for a player's data, and we need it in order to get a player's data. So we're going to say local player key equals, and then I'm going to say in quotes ID, and then put a dash, and then put 2 dots, and then we're going to say player dot user ID. And this is going to create a unique data store key for each player. So the next thing we need to do is load in the player's data, but before we do that, we need to actually include another service called data store service. So local data store service equals game get service data store service. And then we need to create our own data store. So we're going to say local game data equals data store service get data store. And you can call your data store anything you want. I'm just going to call it game data just to keep it simple. And so now to load a player's data, we're going to say local data equals game data, which is the name of your data store, colon get async. And then this method takes in one parameter, and that's just going to be the player key. So we just say player key. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that sometimes when we call this get async function, it can sometimes error if Roblox servers are down. So to prevent that, we're going to use something called pcalls. So a pcall prevents code from erroring, and it also allows us to see if the get async call was successful or not. So to use a pcall, we're going to say local success error message equals pcall function, and then I'm just going to copy and paste the get async call here. And then one other thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove this, and then remove the local from here. That way we can still use the data variable outside of this function. So next we're going to say if not success. This means if the call to get async fails, we're first going to create a warning. So warn, then I'm just going to say error loading data, and then I'm going to put 2 dots, and then we'll print out the error message. So that's just going to be this variable here. And then we're also going to kick the player, so that way the player doesn't lose any data. So we're going to say player colon kick, and then we can just type in a message. So we can just say error loading data, please rejoin. And then we're just going to return. So any code we write here underneath this line here, it's only going to run if the call to get async is successful, because we said that if it wasn't successful, then we're going to return. So any code here will only run if the call is successful. So we're going to say if data, then, so this means that the player's data already exists, so that means they played the game before. So now we just need to load it in. So we're going to say cache.value equals data, and then in brackets we're going to say 1. And the reason we say 1, I'll get more into it later on, but if we have multiple items that we're saving to the data store, we're going to have to use something called a table, and that's why we say data 1. And if we have multiple items, we would say data 2, data 3, etc. And then we're going to say else. So the code we write here is going to run if the player's never joined the game before. So I'm just going to say cache.value equals 0. Then after that, we're going to set the data loaded value to true, because the data has been successfully loaded. Now one problem with this code is that if I go ahead and hit play now, you're going to see that it actually kicks me from the game. And this happens because we said if the get async call fails, we would kick the player. And so the reason it kicks us from the game is because you actually can't use data stores inside of Roblox Studio. You can only use it in an actual game. So there is a way to fix this though. So I'm going to come up here, and then we're going to add another service called run service. So local run service equals game get service run service. And then we're going to come over here and say and not run service is studio. So that way it won't kick us from the game if we hit play now. And as you can see, it doesn't kick me. But if there was actually an error calling get async in a real game, it would actually kick me, and that's what we want, because we don't want the player to be losing data if the get async call fails. Okay, so the next thing we have to do now is actually save the player's data. So what we're going to do is come down here and say players.player removing. So this event will fire whenever a player is about to leave the game. So connect function player. And so the first thing we need to do is actually check to make sure that the player's data was actually loaded in the first place, because otherwise we don't want to save the player's data if it hasn't loaded. So we're going to say if player.data loaded, so this is the data loaded value that we created over here, dot value equals false, then we're going to return, because we don't want to save the player's data if it hasn't loaded. So next we're going to need our player key, so I'm just going to copy that from here, then paste it over here. And then next we need to save the player's data. So to do that, we use a method called setAsync. And we're going to wrap this around a p call, because just like getAsync, it can sometimes fail if Roblox servers are down. So we're going to say local success error message equals p call function. Then we're going to call setAsync. So we're going to say, we're going to type in the name of our data store. So that's game data. And then say setAsync, and then we're going to put in the player key. And then next we need to give this function the data that we want the data store to save. So we're going to say, we're going to type in squiggly brackets, because it's going to allow us to save multiple items if we want. But for right now we only have one item, so we're just going to say player.leaderstats.cache, because that's where we put the cache, right? It's inside of the leader stats. As you can see, we parented the cache to the leader stats. So we say player.leaderstats.cache, and then we have to say .value, because we want to save the actual value. And then I'm also going to come down here and say if not success. So if the setAsync call fails, and we also want to make sure that we're not inside of studio, so and not run service is studio. Then we're going to create a warning, so warn error saving data, and we can print out the error message. So now I'm going to go and publish the game to Roblox. Then go over to your game on the website and hit play. So as you can see, I have 0 cash right now. And so what I'm going to do now is actually give myself some cash. So you want to hit F9 on your keyboard. And on some keyboards you have to hit Fn and then F9. And then you want to go over to server here. Click on server. And then we're going to say game.players. And then we want to type in your username. And make sure you type in your full username, not just your display name. Then we're going to say .leaderstats. And then the name of the value, so that's just going to be cash, and then .value equals, and then we can just set it to say 50 and hit enter. As you can see, I now have 50 cash. So now if I go ahead and leave the game, and if I rejoin, you can see that I still have 50 cash in the game. And I'll also show you how to save multiple values. So I'm actually going to go ahead and create another value called coins. So local coins equals instance.new. This will also be an int value. Coins.name equals coins. Coins.value equals 0. And then coins.parent equals leader stats, because that way it will show up on the leaderboard. And then scroll down to where we get the player's data. We're going to say coins.value equals data2. Now, if you've already released your game and you decide to add a new value, we need to say or and then the default value, so that's just going to be 0. And this is because if the player has already played the game, their cash value will exist, but then their coins value won't. And so their coins value will actually be equal to nothing. And so that's why we need to say or 0, because then if it's nothing, we want to set it to 0. And then we also want to come down here and say coins.value equals 0, because that is going to be the default value for the coins as well. And then now we come down here to the set async call. Then we also need to say, you need to put a comma and then say player.leaderstats.coins.value. And let's just play here to make sure that the coins shows up on the leaderboard. As you can see now, I have cash here and then coins after that. So I'm going to publish the game once again. And then we're going to go ahead and hit play on the website. So now I'm going to go ahead and update my coins. So hit F9 or Fn and F9. And so we're going to say game.players.your-username.leaderstats. And then we're going to say .coins, because we want to update the coins value. Then .value equals, I'm going to just set it to 100. And hit enter. Now if I leave the game and I rejoin, you can see that I still have 100 coins. And if I update the cash value now, set it to 75 and I rejoin, you can see that it still saves the cash value as well. And that is how you make a data store system on Roblox. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like, and I will see you all in the next video.